Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Eagles Community Arena for tonight's BBL Championship game between the visitors, the Cheshire Phoenix, and the hometown Newcastle Eagles. Before we get into team introductions and news before the game, we have got some interviews with the coaches, and we're going to start with Cheshire.
I'm joined by Coach Ben Thomas. Ben, welcome to Newcastle. How was your journey up?
Yeah, thanks. No, really good. Nice to weather outside, so all the roads are pretty clear. And with lockdown, all the roads are nice anyway. So yeah, good journey up. Glad to be here.
And you're playing the Eagles tonight. How's your preparation been ahead of this game?
Well, we're coming off the back of like a really busy schedule where we had 5 games in 10 days. So earlier on this week we just want rest and get our bodies right. And then obviously the last couple of days prepping for a very good Eagles side.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck today. Ian, we're back at the ECA tonight. It's been a tough week or so. How are you feeling ahead of this game?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, you're right. It's been a tough probably 12 days now. But no, we're looking forward to getting back out tonight.
I see Justin Gordon's warming up. Is this will his return bring a big boost to the team tonight? Do you think?
He's been in practice all week, but I think tonight's a little bit early for him. But he's certainly on the road to recovery, not far away at all.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
So that's the thought of both coaches before today's match, and a very interesting game in prospect. Two teams vying for top 4 position, but in totally different form. Cheshire come into this game having won the last 5 league games, including a win last Friday night at home against London and an away win at Sheffield on Sunday, whereas the Eagles currently on a run of lost 4 in 5, including a trophy game down there at London on Monday, and also they lost last Friday night against Sheffield. So also the Eagles without Justin Gordon is again, and that could make a big difference tonight. Alongside me, as he was last week, ex-Eagles assistant coach Dave Forrester, and your thoughts for the game. And I would think big blow for the Eagles that Justin Gordon's out.
It will always be a big blow whenever you miss a guy as capable as him and who the Eagles don't really have a natural replacement for. Interesting thing in this game will be how the Eagles have handled Jalen Hayes, who plays the 4 spot for Cheshire and is an inside-outside guy. And Darius Defoe will no doubt get that match up early on, but particularly when Darius isn't in the game, will they play Louis Sayers on him, or will they look to one of the big guys to guard him? Because he's a guy who can kill you from the 3-point line. And that's really the problem that the Eagles have had in the last few games without Gordon. They've been attacked by Orlando Parker at London at 3-point line, and last week Kipper Nichols at Sheffield, and that's the matchup that they've really got to focus on in this game.
Just looking at these two teams did meet just before Christmas. Real humdinger of a game down there at Cheshire, which the Eagles won by a single point, 85-84. But both teams much changed since then. For instance, Matthew Bryan Ammings in for Cheshire. They didn't have Farrell Gordon or Kyle Carey the last time. They did have Disraeli Lufadejo, who's now out injured. And the Eagles, obviously, they're pretty much the same, although Shori Adenekin has come in. But as we've already mentioned, Justin Gordon out. So really, you can't take a lot from that game either, Dave.
No, it's far too long ago. The momentum in relation to how a team is playing, not necessarily momentum in relation to results, but momentum in relation to how a team is playing with each other, becomes critical. There's lots of games being played at this point, and lots of games for the rest of the season, 2 games a week basically, so you have to be cohesive in your ability to play with each other. And Cheshire have shown that the last few weeks, albeit in their 5-game winning streak. They do have a loss to Glasgow in the trophy thrown in, which probably focused their mind going forward. For them, their backcourt is very talented. That's Karen Ross and Mike McCall. Mike McCall is a guy you have to defend very carefully. You can't let him shoot jump shots by creating space, by stepping back, because he is a knockdown shooter. And you have to defend him a little bit differently and make him penetrate and make him attack the rim instead of giving him his rhythm jump shots. Ross is kind of the engine of their team, who will keep pushing the basketball, and when they need a basket they generally go to him. And they're sharing at the moment minutes between Jimbo Lull and Matthew Bryan to ensure that they've always got a big presence on court at any one time.
Yeah, it's interesting starting fives for the Eagles. No real surprises. Darius Defoe comes into the starting lineup where Justin Gordon would have been, and he has been there for a while. Their backcourt, Cortez Edwards and Ramon Fletcher, Rex Pfluger and Evan Maxwell, who's recovered from his injury down in London. But I think the Cheshire starting five is an interesting one, isn't it, Dave? You mentioned obviously Jimbo Lull and Matthew Bryan, sharing the minutes, so it's Jimbo Lull who gets the start, and he starts with Farrell Gordon and Kyle Carey, as well as Kieran Ross and Jalen Hayes.
Yeah, Farrell Gordon is really a continuity guy for this team. He's playing really, really well at this moment. He's not shooting the ball much, and the Eagles really want to be looking to make him into more of a scorer and not let him just kind of get the ball where it needs to go. The matchup with Lull and Maxwell will be interesting. Maxwell should be suited to guarding Lull because he's more of a back to the basket player. If Maxwell has any issues, it's generally defending in space on the screen and roll. So we'll see how that goes.
Maxwell won the tip for the Eagles, and it's them on offense first time. Defoe, Pfluger inside to Maxwell. Maxwell, will he go against Lull? Turns him round. Fadeaway jump shot is good for two. Evan Maxwell, nice start from Evan Maxwell.
Yeah, there's a minimum of resistance there from Jimbo Lull. I think he's going to have to play him a little bit more physically than that, because if Maxwell gets to 10 feet, then that's his shot. Good pressure there from Fletcher on the ball on Ross.
And it's
Hayes on Defoe.
Yeah. Just watching for Kieran Ross coming round as Hayes drives to the basket, goes hard against Evan Maxwell, but he can't make it. Darius Defoe takes the rebound. Fletcher to Pfluger. Pfluger back out to Maxwell again. Maxwell for three, and Maxwell rattles in the three. 5-0 to Evan Maxwell. Great shot from Evan Maxwell.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned the way that Darius let Jalen Hayes get to his left into the middle there. He blew the layup, but you see now Jalen Hayes had that shot if he wanted it, and he didn't take it. So I think Cheshire need him to get a little bit more aggressive, because he's the guy in this game who's potentially a playmaker.
Great steal from Ramon Fletcher, knocked the ball out of Jalen Hayes' hands from behind, and that's a 7-0 start for the Eagles as Fletcher breaks forward, but lays it in, and Ben Thomas says that's enough, so that let's have a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a bit of a broken record on this one, but Jalen Hayes is a real barometer for this team, and if he is aggressive and searches out his shot, then it becomes a lot easier for the guards, and it becomes a lot easier for the bigs. He's the guy who plays inside out. He has as much skill as basically anybody in the league at this position. There are times where he can go for 30 and 15, but you never quite know how consistent he's going to be. And he started off, it's only been 2 possessions, so it might be a little bit early to be overly critical, but he started off by being quite passive. I'd have liked him to go up and dunk that ball in the layup, and I'd like to have pulled the open 3-point shot when he had it. That can kind of transfer to the opposition, to the other guys on the team as well.
And as you say, he can be a little bit inconsistent, but in the last few weeks he's been very consistent. And you look at his numbers: 16.6 points, 9.1 rebounds, 2.2 assists a game. They're good numbers, and certainly that would be the spot where you would think they would be attacking the Eagles very much so. But 7-0 start, that's a good start for the Eagles, and it'll be Gordon to inbound.
Yeah, Evan Maxwell started again, shooting the ball very cleanly at the beginning of the game. That's something he's really impressed with this season.
Ross,
a little bit of pressure.
And Gordon, Fletcher on Ross. Hayes comes up, looking for the ball off Carey. Carey just gives it back to Ross. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Lull trying to set the screen. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Lull turnaround jump shot is short. Darius Defoe picks up another rebound, gets the ball to Ramon Fletcher. He gives it to Edwards. Edwards going to go right into the paint. Going to come back, gives it to Maxwell, but Maxwell is stripped by Hayes. And Gordon comes away with the ball. That's Farrell Gordon.
Mismatch here with Ross on Darius. Ross is looking to shoot that ball every single time down.
Yeah, and he makes the two from the just inside the 3-point line from the baseline. That's set Cheshire's first point. Is 7-2. Fletcher's ball to Edwards, off Edwards' hands.
Yeah, it's sloppy. Evan didn't seem to know that basketball was coming. Cortez hadn't finished his cut. They got to regain a little bit of focus here.
Ross. Hayes, nice pass from Hayes. Ross just about keeps it in play. He has to come back out. Gordon to Ross. Ross into Lull. Lull faced by Maxwell and Pfluger. I think it's going to be a foul on Pfluger. Yeah.
It is. The Ross was slightly generous with the amount of time that Jimbo was in the paint there. He posted up, didn't catch it. Took a dribble, took a spin, spun around again. Probably early in the game for a 3-second call.
One of the most infrequent calls, I think, in the game, Dave.
Well,
the 3
that's
second
because
one.
players normally
Get
stick
out,
to the
yeah.
rules, yeah.
Carey into
it's
Gordon. It's going to be a foul
On Pfluger,
on
perhaps.
Pfluger, yeah.
That's Pfluger's second
Second
foul.
foul straight away, and that's going to be trouble for the Eagles if Pfluger gets it. He's probably going to sit him down straight away. Yep, Lewis Sayers into the game.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating for Pfluger. He wanted to stay in the game, but it's probably a little bit early on the 2 fouls to give him another one just in case he picks up a bad call. It's a natural substitution for Sayers, but it does kind of impact the guard rotation later on.
Referees, I should have mentioned, Chris Dodds, Graham Shaw and Ian MacDonald, all from Scotland. Yes, Carey, good hands by Cortez Edwards, deflects the ball away.
I think that's Edwards' third deflection already in the game. You know, he really does have active hands. He doesn't look like he does because he kind of lollops around and he just kind of gets in the gaps and you don't realise he is. He doesn't explode, but he's cat-like in his quickness.
7 seconds left on the shot clock. Gordon in.
Too easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly the same, Dave. Too
Aggression
easy.
on the screen and roll. They've got to be better defending the screen and roll, and that's what I was talking about with Maxwell in space.
Ross got all the way to the basket,
Yeah.
made it quite comfortably. Edwards, Sears in the corner, he flicks it back out. Nice pass inside by Fletcher. Great ball movement for the Eagles. That was fantastic ball movement for the Eagles. And Cortez Edwards lays it in
Yeah, I
for
think
two.
I'd still like to see Maxwell shoot it from 6 feet, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
well,
two good extra passes, but
it's a good point, but it was fantastic
It
ball
worked.
movement.
it worked.
Yeah. Here's Lull.
I see a bit more pressure now, maybe on the basketball. Oh, here's Carey
Carey
attacking.
going to attack. He's going to give it to Ross. Ross back out to Hayes. Here's Hayes for 3. Doesn't make it.
Yeah, they got lucky there. They took a shot that Hayes can make.
Maxwell took the rebound, give it Edwards. Eagles on offense again. Fletcher and Edwards exchange passes. Darius Defoe gets the better of Farrell Gordon and lays it in for 2. Great veteran move from Darius
That's
Defoe.
what I like to see with this lineup. You know, they do have an advantage with Darius down low, and he really just has to look to get the basketball down low and not just hang around on the perimeter.
Carey back to Ross. Gordon.
Good
pressure.
front by
Yeah,
Maxwell there. Good front, yeah, and
Good
good
work all
steal.
around, wasn't it? It was good work by Lewis Sayers on Gordon, and then
Yeah,
Maxwell really did well in the paint against Lull.
yeah,
Picked the ball up, and Fletcher once again has found Maxwell. He didn't make that one, but Darius Defoe comes from behind, gets the offensive rebound
Yeah,
and put back.
If they're going to play with this big lineup, they both have to be all over the glass and all over the rim and being aggressive.
Excellent start from the Eagles, 13-4.
Now Ross is going to look to attack. Fletcher gets back in front of him. Oh, that's
Be
a
a foul.
foul. No, that's a foul because
Yeah.
he stepped into him. You see, in many ways, by looking to throw the ball into the low post, the Phoenix assist the Eagles in what they're doing because the Eagles have size down there, and if it gets into a kind of a battle down there, then they'll live. Now, the harder thing to defend is Ross and McCall off the quickness of the screens in space.
McCall on for Carey and Brian Amming on for Jalen Hayes.
For Hayes, yeah. So they're going too big, you see, to match up with Maxwell and
Defoe, yeah.
Defoe. Now that's kind of a first victory for Newcastle, that Cheshire are matching up with Newcastle as opposed to Newcastle having to match up with Cheshire.
Jimbo Lill knocks down the 12-footer from the side. Gives Cheshire 6 points. Fletcher tries to penetrate, gives it to Maxwell. Maxwell's going to shoot another 3, doesn't make it. Gordon takes the rebound. Here's McCall. Back to Gordon. Nice pass inside to Brian Amming. To Nola, good hands by Darius Defoe. Gets it free, and Lewis Sayers is going to go all the way. Doesn't make the shot though. Eagles get the ball as Ross puts it out of play.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that because what's happening is Darius is allowed to put an arm bar on Matthew Bryan in the post there, and Matthew Bryan's knocking his hand away. Now, if Darius is performing a legal move with the arm bar, actually knocking of the arm away is an offensive foul. So it'd be interesting to see how the refs defend that.
Louis Sayers just steps out of bound from Fletcher's inbound pass.
That's the third, I think the third probably sloppy turnover. Now they've gone with Adenikin, who's now going to be guarding Lull, and Defoe, who's going to be guarding Bryant. So it's going to be an old-fashioned slugfest down there.
And Maxwell taking the seat as Ross turns the corner against Fletcher.
That's the second time. You've got two bigs in the game, but that's Adenikin there has been stepped out towards Lull, and his job is to protect the basket and to stop that happening. So by stepping out as far as he does,
Fletcher for three at the other end.
Ross gets a layup. That's two layups already, and that's the Achilles heel in their defense. They've got to do better than that down there. Ramon just knocked down a shot there. Nice to see him getting aggressive. And he's looking for a steal there as well. He almost got one, yeah.
Gordon manages to get it back. Lowell thought about putting a shot up. Adenikin once again, the shot clock going down. Good hands by Cortez.
Adenikin needs to get there. You see again, Fletcher is looking at Adenikin there saying, look, I've got Matthew Bryan on me, you've got to come across.
I was going to say there's massive mismatch
there.
Yeah,
but Adenikin's standing 3 feet away from him, so he has to get across there and take that man off Fletcher and know that's coming.
Fletcher setting it up for the Eagles offense. The Eagles up by 6. Sayers comes to catch and shoot, doesn't make it. Cortez almost picked it out, but as he came down, McCall pinched it off him. Here's Gordon back to McCall. McCall for 3. That one's off. Drops to Brian Amming.
Good hands by Darius.
These two have played against each other for so many years as well, haven't they?
Yeah, that's a good shot from McCall though. They get Cheshire will be happy with that shot. Now Cheshire going back small with Mulliam, so it'll be interesting to see how Newcastle react to that.
Lull out, Jimbo Lull comes out. And
so it's going to be, Defoe's now going to be required to guard Mulliam. That's a tough call for him, given his athleticism.
Yeah, he's a Frenchman, very athletic. Sahel Mullion.
That's an obvious foul.
Yeah. Eddie Matthews just comes straight on for Cortez Edwards, and Kieran Ross took advantage of that.
Well, yeah, he just saw him. He thought, right, I'm going to go at you, and Eddie has to do a better job with moving his feet. He can't give up a foul like that. And now Fletcher said, look, you guard Farrell, go, and I'll guard him, which is probably a veteran move that people wouldn't necessarily notice, but a very smart one. And because of that, Fletcher gets a turnover. Yeah, so these matchups in games really do matter. Who is guarding who at the right time?
And it's it's where a veteran player helps the coach out, isn't it, as well?
Absolutely.
Takes that on board, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fletcher almost sold a dummy by Louis Sayers, but he gets the ball, decides to shoot another 3, doesn't make it. Louis Sayers goes in for the rebound, but Matthew Bryan picks it up.
This is an offensively, creatively challenged offense for the Eagles. We've got, Adenikin, Matthew and Sayers, none of whom really often look to create their own shots. So there's a lot of pressure on Fletcher with that lineup on the court.
Yes, McCall goes past Louis Sayers. Once again, Defoe in there, tough, and that's tough work as well. Well, that was tough work by both Darius Defoe and Shore Adenikin, but foul was given for a hit on the arm. I'm not quite so sure about it myself, but was called.
Well, he certainly, Ian McDonald's saying that Darius didn't have his arm straight up. I don't know, I couldn't see, so you've got to trust the referee on that call, I'm afraid. Never believe a player when they say that they were straight up. What I will say is that he was bailed out because he had absolutely nowhere to go, so it's a disappointing foul from the Eagles' perspective.
Makes the first. He's only a 42% free throw shooter as well.
I have to say this is a troublesome. This is a difficult line of the Eagles. Where they're going to go for offense here. You have to think they're probably going to look to go at Defoe in the post, or Fletcher off the screen and roll, and see if he can create something for the other guys.
Moreland misses a second. Defoe takes an uncontested rebound, and Fletcher brings it forward.
Is that what they're doing? They're going for a.
Matthew comes out off couple of screens. Adenikin comes out, he'll go inside. There's the wall in low to Darius Defoe. He turns around Matthew Bryan and lays it in with his right hand.
Well, I think I get 1 point for that one, Jeff.
Yes, I
go to Defoe in the post.
I think you absolutely do, and I think you get 1, Darius gets 2, and it was a move for a 17-year-old, not a 35-year-old. Yeah. Fletcher, another great pass into Defoe. Defoe this time can't make the shot.
Yeah, I thought Matthew does a good job. Got fouled there. I thought he was on the blind side of the ref. Matthew. But again, Karen Rocks, as soon as he sees Eddie Matthew, he's going at him. And he's going at him to his right, and Eddie Matthew has to do a better job of making him go to his left, where he can't attack as quickly.
Here's Fletcher going. He puts the Jets on, but he can't make the layup.
With this offense, it's all now. See so the issue that the Eagles have is that they're struggling with both Matthew defensively and Adenikin to a certain degree, and down here it has to be Fletcher who's making all the plays, and Fletcher's played 9 minutes, so he's probably in need of a break.
Yeah, Fletcher and Defoe coming out, and Edwards and Maxwell coming back on. But as you see, I think the one guy Eagles will be looking at is Eddie Matthew needs to just step up defensively, otherwise Ross is going to continue to take him to the cleaners.
Well, there's nowhere to hide at the moment because he's Ross and McCall are both big-time scorers in this league, and he's probably not athletic enough to guard Carey. So yeah, he has to be able to guard one of those two guys if he's going to be on the floor.
Moulin misses the first. Misses the second. I thought Kyle Carey was seen being very early there. It was almost as if he knew he was going to miss it. So he's 1 from 4. Eagles still lead 18-13. Edwards, he's going to attack the basket. Nice little jump.
See, now Edwards understands it's now it's his turn because of the line on the court. He has to find his own offense. So it's a great decision by Cortez Edwards to go and do that. He made the right decision to attack at that point. He knows when it's his turn.
Cheshire. McCall for 2.
That's McCall's jump shot. You can't go under McCall, and again, it's a scouting report thing, and you want to pressure that a little bit more.
Adenikin to Matthew. Back to Adenikin. Nice little pass over the top by Adenikin. Good positioning by Ed.
Yeah, it's a nice high-low. It's good to see some high-low stuff working because with these lineups, they have to run high-low with the two bigs. No.
Good play by both the bigs there for the Eagles. Here's Brian Amming working hard. Adenikin strips him though, and he compels the referee, but that was a clean strip.
Matthew Bryan was looking for contact there as opposed to...
It's actually happening. That's going to be a foul inside by Moulin on Evan Maxwell. Eagles went for the high-low again.
Yeah, down here, Matthew Bryan, he likes to create physical contact, and he's looking for contact. What the Eagles did well was to stay down and not overcommit, and make him make the extra move, and he brought the ball low, and then you can take it off him.
Edwards from the end line puts it in Adenikin. Adenikin throws it back into Edwards, and that's going to be a foul by Kieran Ross.
Adenikin's shown some nice passing touches. It's 2 or 3 times. He's really been where he needed. He's made nice plays.
Inside the last 30 seconds, Eagles lead 22-15. Edwards a long pass out to Adenikin. Waits for Edwards to come back. Decides not to give him it back. Now he's going to try and find somebody else. Lewis Sayers turns the corner. Lewis Sayers thinks about putting this one up. Does put it up well short. Eddie Matthew almost gets the rebound.
But I see that's the problem with this lineup. Before you have is Lewis Sayers coming off trying to make a one-on-one move at the top of the key against the guy who's more athletic than he is. You're never going to get a good shot out of that.
Last play of the quarter is a long 3 from Kieran Ross, and it's short. So Eagles take a 7-point lead in the second quarter, and I think Coach Ian McLeod will be well pleased with that.
Yeah, I think you'll probably think they could be better. I don't think Cheshire have started yet. The last possession there is one where it's a wasted possession. You don't get the ball where it needs to go, and you end up shooting a disappointing shot at the end of a quarter. That said, they've shown some nice stuff as well. In particular, as I say, Adenikin with his passing, Maxwell with his touch around the basket, and they've shown just about enough defense to kind of keep them in it. But having said that, Kieran Ross has only shot the ball 5 times and he has 8 points. So somebody's going to have to step up and do a job on him at some point, because when he realises that maybe some of his team aren't quite there tonight and it has to be him, he's shown so far that he has the ability to take the game away.
Just looking at the scorers at the end of the first quarter, Eagles all points from the starting 5, well, 4 of the starting 5. Evan Maxwell has 7, Darius Defoe 6, Ramon Fletcher 5, and Cortez Edwards 4. Darius Defoe already has 4 rebounds as well, off to a really good start tonight. And for Cheshire, Kieran Ross has got 8, Jimbo Lull has 2, and then they have 5 from the bench with Brian Amming with 2, McCall with 2, and 1 from Moulin from the line.
And Ben Thomas has sat Jalen Hayes down for quite a long time in that quarter, so I think he, like me, was probably not particularly impressed with what he saw from him in the first few minutes, and he's took him out and gone with the 2 bigs lineup. It'll be interesting to see when Jalen comes back, because he's not on the court at the beginning of the second quarter either. But these type of things matter, He is a massive key to this game for them.
The interesting one for me, stats is only part of the game is Kyle Carey. I mean, Kyle Carey was 7 minutes there, and I guess it's for balance as much as anything.
Yeah, it's athleticism. He provides a bit of balance, a bit of athleticism for them. They don't really run many plays for him. He's a bit like Farrah Gordon like that. He has to run a play.
Kyle Carey gives it to Brian Amangan. Here's Ross back to Carey. Carey thought about the shot and decided not to. Goes to the basket. And fantastic block by Cheshire Adenican on Kyle Carey, but unfortunately Matthew Brian Amming got in there for the rebound, I think it was, and has been given us a 2-point as a goal.
Scored the goal, Tim, because I think he thought Maxwell went up through the rim to get the ball. I have to say, I wasn't sure that was the case. I saw the net move, but I wasn't sure who touched it. He said someone pushed the net. We'll have to wait and see on the replay.
Ben Thomas was up very quickly, the Cheshire
Just
court.
on that play, though, again, Louis Sayers, Kyle Carey hasn't really shown this season that he's a tremendous three-point shooter. He didn't shoot many of them, and Louis Sayers ran out with him, and he allowed him to get an open look. It's an early three from the corner from Maxwell. You'd probably prefer that Eagles could get something a little bit better than that.
Yes, Ross thought about penetrating Muliam. He gives it.
So again, you see,
Carey attacks a basket again, but
he got lucky again.
Shot.
It's a wild shot, but it's a good drive by.
Excellent drive.
But again, Sayers has gone too close
to Fletcher, and Louis Sayers for three pops it in.
Yeah, that's Fletcher knowing where his shooter is. Now I'd like to see Louis Sayers just play a little bit off Kyle Carey and not let him penetrate the way that he has. So again, now Fletcher's all over Ross now. This is the difference.
Ross,
you could
Brian Amming backing Maxwell down. Oh, that's going to be a foul.
Yeah, I thought that was a foul. It was a good drop step by Matthew Bryan. Problem with that was Maxwell had the opportunity to get in front of him there in the post, and he didn't. He had the opportunity to stop him catching the basketball, and he kind of just gave the ground. And once you give the ground, then Matthew Bryan's going to put an enormous amount of pressure on you, and he's going to put pressure on the referees to make calls. And if you let him get the ball to the point whereby he has the ball inside the paint and he's going up, there's a risk you're going to get a foul call, because he is a skilled big man down there. So you've got to do your work before he catches the basketball. That's what the Eagles didn't do then.
Darius Defoe has replaced Evan Maxwell, and we've got Jalen Hayes back on court for Kyle Carey.
Yeah, so this is now a small lineup for Cheshire, with Hayes at the 4, Gordon at the 3. It means again that Defoe has to match up with Hayes and hope that Adenican is going to provide sufficient shot blocking and presence in the middle.
Matthew Bryan's first one was good, but the second one's long. Adenican takes the real. Sure, Adenican was probably the Eagles' biggest positive from the game down at London on Monday, I thought. Obviously had to step up with Evan Maxwell getting injured early in the first quarter, but certainly his best game so far in an Eagles shirt. He's going to go out, he's going to shoot the long jumper, but that's not his shot really.
Again, you see Fletcher went down to set a screen, but he didn't really know what each other was doing, so you'd have to think that's probably a wasted possession.
Ross, nice pass. Good turn by Hayes, and he's up. Nope. Eagles once again moving the ball quickly.
We'd like Louis Sayers to shoot that one if he could.
Louis Sayers was in the middle of the paint, in the corner, and looked as if he was wide open. Certainly wide open by Louis Sayers standards. But Eagles will take the foul. I think that's the first one on McCall.
Yeah, Jalen Hayes looking a bit discombobulated, a bit disgruntled out here. He missed the layup there, he fell over. He got up gingerly, I don't know, maybe he's fully healthy.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? When they're playing so many games in such a short time, you never really know. Edwards dancing around and puts the ball.
See, that wasn't a proper post up for Adenican. He didn't run there like he really wanted the basketball. Edwards didn't throw it like he really wanted to throw it. So you would like to see a little bit more purpose to their offense. If someone's getting the ball down there, it should be Defoe. It shouldn't be Adenican. But Defoe's up at the top doing handoffs.
There's a 1-2 with Mike McCall. Quarters Edwards gets Ross on the floor, fakes him, and then knocks down the 3.
Incredibly skilled play by Edwards. He really makes things look very easy at times. Another assist for Fletcher. They really need Fletcher and Edwards to create shots for the other guys.
28-18, Eagles lead. They'll be well pleased so far.
Needs to drop into the paint now and help out in the paint.
Brian Amming's going to go against him. Fancies his chances here. Nice two-step one away, but great defense from Adenican, and he also gets the rebound. Fletcher's going to turn the burners on against McCall. Edwards back to Defoe. I was going to say, Darius has thrown normally money from that range, but
Yeah.
missed that one. Jalen Hayes takes a
Excellent
rebound.
post defense from Adenican. He really is a good post defender. He doesn't, he's strong and you see at that point he didn't get back to his man. Now he's put in the screen and roll. He stayed there too long. He didn't get back. He gave up a layup. So his defense is all about how does he deal with the screen and roll, not necessarily how does he deal with the post.
Fletcher, 6:53 to go. Eagles lead by 8. Lewis Sears from the corner. That's too long. Adenican though, that's a good rebound. Almost the back court, but Darius DeFord as well to save it. Fletcher drives in. Good hands by Brian Arming.
Again, Darius DeFoe's on the halfway line at the point.
Great stand, a great defensive stand from Darius DeFore, and the Eagles. Whoa! How to overcomplicate an easy layup.
No, it's nice play by Sayers to make the third man. You never know when you're going to need the third man. He kept running, so he did the right thing.
3-on-1, and the Eagles made the count. 30-20 they lead. I thought a fantastic defensive stand by Darius DeFore at the other end. Here's Mike McCall. Turns, he goes nicely through between Edwards and Darius DeFore.
I'd like to see Cheshire Adenican off Matthew Bryan and in there and dealing with that shot. He doesn't need to guard Matthew Bryan on the three-point line. If they throw it to him, he can get out.
Edwards goes deep and has to come back out. Fletcher's got the ball now. Nice little inside pass to DeFore. DeFore takes one bounce. Can't make the float that.
Yeah, he didn't need to take the bounce. He just got a bit discombobulated by that dribble.
There's Ross.
Now Adenican's guarding Hayes, so Hayes is thinking I can go. And Farrah Gordon saying you go at him.
Brian Arming from a long way out, but a nice shot. Yeah, nice curl shot. And Ian McLeod decides he'll have a timeout at 30-22, and we'll go to an advert.
Yeah, 30-24.
Before we get back to the game, I'd like to give a big shout out to the Newcastle Eagles WBBL team who are on the road as we speak, going down to Cardiff to play the Met Archers tomorrow at 1:30. The girls have said they're all going to be watching the game, so there's a big shout out to you girls and good luck tomorrow. And also in the far corner of the arena, I don't know if Dave spotted him, but Swoop the Eagles managed to get in, Dave, from top right hand corner.
About his vaccination, Jeff.
He must have done, yeah.
Who picks 1:30 for a tip-off time in Cardiff? I thought it was 3 o'clock in Surrey was bad. 1:30 in Cardiff. Somebody is having a laugh.
Yeah.
Sorry, like not 1:15 or 1:45, but 1:30.
1:30, which obviously the girls had the choice of going down very, very early on Saturday morning or going down today and having an overnight rest, and that's what they decided to do.
Just wonder. 1:30.
That game you'll be able to watch on the Cardiff Met Archers YouTube channel tomorrow, 1:30, as we say. Back to here, little run from Cheshire. McLeod takes a timeout. Eagles lead 30-24. Rex Pfluger back in the game. He inbounds to Fletcher. 5:30 to go.
So we're in the horn set now, coming off Adenican's side to Defoe, looking for a handoff to Edwards. They missed up on the back door, and this is February now. It's the end of February. You can't be misreading that. That's another wasted possession.
It wasn't even a close misread either, was it?
Well, it's a basic. Yeah. It's a basic play. If they're going to do that, they should have a signal. That's the type of thing in February that you just can't do.
Edwards almost gets in front of Carey, breaking the play up.
Fletcher is really active.
Fletcher's absolutely active.
Great move by McCall. Lucky he missed it.
Didn't make the 3-point. Pfluger took the rebound. Here's Fletcher, and he knocks it back down to Defoe from the elbow. He's missed that, but Pfluger's got an offensive rebound at the other end. Can't make the shot though.
That was a good play by Pfluger. He's just coming a little bit cold. He's got to knock it down.
Yes, Jimbo Lull, who's returned to the game in place of Brian Arming. He's against Adenican. Good defensive play again, once again by Cheshire Adenican. This time it's Hayes against Carey, against Cortez Edwards.
That's his shot.
Kieran Ross gets free and knocks his 2 points out.
I think that's Mike McCall. That's Mike McCall. Ross is off the game.
Cortez Edwards going in tough.
Eagles' offense is just basically stopped at the moment. They've got no It's an offensive situation for the Eagles at the moment. It's all one out. You don't see any particular cohesion. You don't see them getting the shots that they need to get.
Cortez Edwards takes a break. Drew Lasser comes out. That last play was a charge by Jalen Hayes and Darius Defoe, who took the charge. But the Eagles probably, as you say, got away with one a little bit there because their offense was poor at the other end.
Yeah, I mean, they need, obviously, if Fletcher is creating shots for Defoe and he's creating shots for other guys, that's fine. But when he hasn't got the basketball in his hands, you know, there's really not that much good which is coming out of their offense at the moment.
Just waiting for the moisture removal technician to do his work. All done to the referee's satisfaction. Darius Defoe will inbound to Ramon Fletcher, who's got Mike McCall on him.
I'd like to see him getting Darius down low. If they need a shot, they need a score, get him down low, get him in the post and see if he can create something. I'm not sure that Jalen Hayes can guard him in the post.
Defoe makes his way down deep in the post. Fluger gives it nice pass from Defoe.
Again, he's catching the ball 15 feet, 20 feet out.
Fletcher shakes and bakes, knocks it down. Is it going to go in? Nope. Jim Morlow comes up with the rebound. McCall outlet pass to Gordon. Good play by Fluger to slow it down. And then Fluger hits Jumbo Lull for O'Gordon for two. That one is off.
Yeah, that's a good job by Fluger. Again, good defense by Fluger.
He's really that's his game. He's a really good defender. Loska was there to take the rebound, and now it's Loska.
Adenekin fighting with Low down there, and you'd much prefer that.
Drew Lasser loses the ball. McCall gets free, lays it in for two, and Ian McLeod says, "I'm going to have another timeout." As Cheshire come with him too.
You know, basically, anytime Fletcher isn't touching the basketball, the Eagles are having trouble creating anything. Now, on that occasion, you got Adenekin in the post, but he's not able to get in front, so he's not giving Lasker a pass into the post. You've got Defoe at the top. Now, Adenekin's being guarded by Lowe, who's 7 foot, who wants to be down there. Yeah. And Defoe's being guarded by Hayes, who wants to be at the top because he's 6'6". Yeah. So what you need to be looking to do is to get Defoe and Lowe, Defoe to swap to see if Lowe goes with him, in which case Defoe would have a quickness advantage, or give him the basketball with Hayes on him, in which case he's got a power advantage. But instead, they don't have the cohesion together to do that, and as such, their offense has become... you know, if you take out what Fletcher's given them and you take out what Maxwell's given them early, you know, you don't see much in the way of creativity, and that's why Cheshire are back in this basketball game, albeit, to be fair, you know, Cheshire are not playing to the level that they can play at this point in time.
Yeah, and Eagles might regret not taking advantage of that. We've got 3:17 left to go in the half. Eagles do lead 30-28. Believe it's their ball at the end line.
But they really need to look at, you know, who are their scoring options on the court, and neither Lasker, Fluger, or Adenekin has shown this season a specific, you know, their skill set is specifically scoring the basketball.
With Shore, Adenekin has to be close to the basket, really, isn't it? Fluger thought about the three. He's going to drive all the way.
Yeah, it's good foul.
Foul by
Jalen
Hayes. Yep. His second foul, I believe.
Yeah, he's leading the game in shoulder shrugs as well.
Nice start, I like that one. There's Defoe from the elbow.
Again, Defoe's shots are short.
Yeah, it's unusual for Darius Defoe. That's his range normally. Yeah. Gordon lays it into Hayes, and Hayes is up for 2 points.
Hayes is beating him down the court.
And Adenekin beats everybody else down the court, but he can't control Fletcher's pass.
See, that's another turnover and another wasted possession. So they really are looking very
Eagles' 7th turnover.
Uncoordinated at the moment.
Again, this is that slight difference. They've got to try and find something else. Cheshire taking the time to inbound it, and here we go. McCall telling somebody to go to the corner. Carey comes up and takes it off him.
Two bigs on the court for Cheshire now, so there should be a... that's a foul by Fletcher. Yeah, just hit him.
Not much you could do to avoid it, really, but it was a foul. There's no two ways about it.
Kind of a frustration foul. He went for the steal, he just didn't get there where he needed to.
Yeah, Brian Hamming back on for Jalen Hayes. Obviously, Hayes on 2 fouls. Carey. No, that's a great defensive play once again by Shorey Adenican, but can't keep the ball in play. But good hands in front of Jimbo Lull.
Yeah, great aggression. That's what you like to see. Should be 14 seconds on the shot clock. Should be 14 seconds.
Yeah, because the ball's gone dead, hasn't it?
Ball's gone dead. It was 14 seconds on the end line, so if you take the view that Eagles got possession, which they probably didn't, they'd probably run it down to probably 12 or 11. Yeah, 11. Good call. Well done, ref.
Kyle Carey's going inbound. 11 seconds. McCall has to get it over, and he's got it over. 7 seconds to shoot. Nice pass inside to Brian Hamming. His shot's well short. Short out of Nicken again, and he knocks that ball loose into Laska's hands. And once again, unfortunately, Adenican can't pick up the ball. Got a good position as well.
How many turnovers the Eagles have now, Jeff?
That's the 9th turnover.
9th turnover. Well, you know, and they've all been, I wouldn't say they've been what you'd call good turnovers.
Fluger out, Cortez Edwards in, and Kieran Ross back in for Cheshire. Kyle Carey who takes the seat. There's Brian Hamming. Mike McCall, he's going to, oh, nice pass inside to Brian Hamming. He can't make the through, but great rebound by Farrah Gordon. Back out to McCall. McCall comes inside for 2. Nice play by Cheshire, and they've hauled themselves in front of the lead. It's a 12-0 run at the moment.
Great rebound by Farrah Gordon. And again, it's Adenican with Defoe on the foul line.
Back to Defoe, out just outside the key. Fletcher turns the corner, nice pass inside to Defoe. Defoe muscles his way to the basket, can't make it. Lasker got the offensive rebound, but he couldn't put it back as well. But it's Cheshire who knocked the ball dead. Matthew Bryan, gets a warning for too much talking. Here's Defoe. Edwards, very static, isn't it? Right away across. From the elbow, Cortez Edwards is up and shoots the jump shot and levels the game up with 32 points all.
Yeah, great individual play by Edwards.
Breaks the 12-0 run from Cheshire. He's back on offense. Here's Ross against Lasker. Lasker pushing him down to the baseline. Ross going hard, and he's going to step out of bounds, but Adenican it was who deflected the ball out.
Yeah, and that was good defense because he had Drew Lasker, forcing him to the baseline and showing Adenican being there, and Ross had nowhere else to go. So that came from intent on the basketball from Lasker.
Lewis Sayers back in for Drew Lasker.
See, now they got lucky then because he stepped out of bounds.
Big step out of bounds.
I think
interesting use of Drew Lasker for just getting into the game, and
there's only a minute to go. I think he's saying that Ross touched the basketball before he established position back in bounds. You see, there's only 4 seconds to get the ball over half court now. I'm not sure why that is. How was that for? There was a 24-second shot clock, so I don't know how they got to 20.
That seems a bit strange to say the least, doesn't it? Fletcher though turns on the burners and gets it over. Cortez Edwards does a good job of saving the ball.
That came from that's another turnover. Ian McLeod's asking, how was that? How do we get to 20 on the shot clock when the ball was tipped out of bounds?
Well, I can only assume that Matthew Bryan has been very polite because he is still talking, as 1 or 2 people around me are saying. Adenican does well on Jimbo Lull. Here's Gordon. This time Jimbo Lull gets in and manages to lay it up. Just got that step in front of Adenican. Puts Cheshire back in front, 34-32. Edwards to reply for the Eagles. Back to Adenican. Here's Defoe. Defoe almost has it stripped by McCall. Fletcher has to go in hard. Nice pass by Fletcher. Adenican goes up to lay it up, and he was convinced he was fouled. as most people from the Eagles were, but nothing was given.
No, I think what Graham Shaw, the referee, is saying is that Adenican, when he went up, he used his off arm to fend off the defender. And I don't know, I'd have to watch it again. Certainly there was contact with his off arm, but if it's Adenican who's making that contact, then it's not a foul. He certainly didn't appear to be fouled on his shooting arm. And he's going to make that layup. You know, it doesn't matter whether he thinks he's fouled or not. He's got to make that layup. At the moment, Fletcher is dropping dimes for everybody, and there's nobody finishing.
Cheshire have taken a timeout with 17.2 to go in the half. So their ball at the end line, is it? Oh, I can't remember. Was it Cheshire's ball, Dave? Yeah.
Yeah, Edwards deflected a pass
Edwards deflected out.
on the fast break, and but couldn't keep the basketball in bounds.
Stopped the easy basket though, so it was good hands in that respect. But Ben Thomas drawn up a play here. I would imagine they'll try and, unless they get a very easy look, I would imagine they'll try and take all 17 seconds here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it depends. What's the shot clock going to be on? Is the shot clock switched off?
Yeah, shot clock's off.
So yeah, they should be getting to the last shot. I mean, look for Ross to hold the basketball and maybe look to penetrate and get the ball to McCall for a jump shot if he can.
Eagles going back with Adenican, Defoe, Fletcher, Edwards and Sears against Brian Amming, Lull, Ross, McCall and Gordon. Last 17.2 seconds of our first half, which has been very entertaining, very interesting.
He stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, once again, amazing the number of times players step out of bounds.
Pretty frustrating that you'd call a timeout and have a player step out of bounds on the inbounds.
Substitutions for Cheshire.
Got to say this, you know, on a fundamental basis, neither team has played particularly well in this first half. Certainly not offensively.
Eagles with 15 seconds. Instead of one last player, could level the game.
Well, if Kyle Carey's guarding Ramon Fletcher, I think the rest of the Eagles need to get out of the way.
I think that's what Fletcher's waiting for, but it hasn't come for him. And he's going to throw that ball at Adenican, but Adenican didn't make the layup, and he really has to make those layups, doesn't he, Dave? That's two or three he's missed now.
How many assists does Fletcher have?
Well, he's only got 4 assists.
Well, he should have 12 because you know he's dropped them to Adenican for layups, to Defoe for jump shots, to everybody else. You know he can't do much more than what he's doing at this point in time to try and get people good shots.
So we've got half time here with Cheshire having done well to come back from 32-20 down to lead 34-32 at the break. And we'll get some stats together for you and be back in about 10 minutes time. Half time score, Newcastle Eagles 32, Cheshire Phoenix 34. For the Eagles, Cortez Edwards has 9, Evan Maxwell 7 and 2 fouls, Darius Defoe 6 points and 4 rebounds. And the Eagles have taken 20 rebounds, which is 6 offensive and 14 defensive. It's 9 assists to 9 turnovers, and they're shooting the ball at 38% with 5 steals. For Cheshire, Mike McCall has 10 points, Kieran Ross 8 points, and Matthew Brian Amming has 7 points and 4 rebounds. They have taken 19 rebounds overall, 3 offensive and 16 defensive. They are also 9 assists and 9 turnovers. They're shooting though the ball at 53% and have 3 steals. Dave?
Yeah, it's a pretty sloppy set of stats, to be honest, if you look at it, because I don't think either team has played particularly impressive defence. There's been kind of bits of period of time whereby a little bit of defence has been played, the odd possession, but not kind of on multiple possessions in a row. And for each team to have 9 turnovers at this point in the basketball game is a real issue. And they've been sloppy turnovers for both teams, where they've been out of control. It's a really chippy kind of, disappointing game at the moment. It's 34-32. It's 60, mid-60s game, and these are 2 talented offensive teams, and they really should be slightly better than that.
Do you think that suits the Eagles possibly a bit more at this stage with not having Gordon?
I don't think it really suits anybody to be playing at this kind of level, because they're both capable of playing at much higher levels.
Somebody like Jalen Hayes, for instance, you've pointed him out a couple of times, and he seems to be quite off tonight. Not quite off. You know, when you were assistant coach, I remember quite a lot of the times you would say such and such hasn't done a lot. You'd probably want to go off second half, that sort of thing. You know, But it's not really a question that in this, is it? As you say, it's because it's very, very bitty, and
Well,
neither team's established anything.
Yeah, well, it comes down to that comes down to the professional pride of the players. You know, I mean, are they happy that they're up 2? Are they happy that they're in the game down 2? Or are they looking at themselves thinking, actually, we can be better than this? And they're not all being awful. Let's be honest. There've been some pockets of reasonable play and good play, but on a consistent level, this is not the level that you have to play at if you want to be challenging the top teams in this league. I expect, it'll be interesting. I think, the matchup between Ross and Fletcher may become critical in this game. Fletcher at the moment has 4 assists. He should have probably 10 or 11 if his teammates could properly finish, because he's spoon feeding them for shots which they're not able to knock down. Ross is slightly different. He's a slightly more aggressive point guard in the screen and roll. He looks to score a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see if he decides it's his time to kind of go off and make the statement in this game. This game is waiting out for a player to step up and make a statement.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's kind of a game which one player could just suddenly take over from either side. And the guard matchup, as you've already mentioned, is really intriguing. But Cheshire seem to have this ability to find point guards, don't they?
Oh yeah, they do recruit point guards very, very well.
We were talking about this yesterday at the girls' game, and you go back and like last year's Parker Jackson Cartwright or Cartwright Jackson, I can't remember which way around. Jackson Cartwright, yeah, I was right first. Very good player, and I remember some other ones like John Thomas way back.
Well, you don't forget Quincy Taylor. Quincy Taylor was exceptional guard, and
obviously Trey Moore played at Cheshire as well, didn't he?
You always knew that when you were playing against Cheshire, you had to match up with the guards. But
Maxwell back in the game, not a surprise obviously, because it's the start of the second half.
Well, let's be frank. I mean, the starting 5 for the Eagles was pretty cohesive, and started the game pretty well. And my guess is, and I haven't got the numbers, but my guess is that they had 16 points probably halfway through the first quarter, which means that they've probably scored 16 points the rest of the way, and that's basically when the various bench units have come in and they've struggled to create anything offensively.
Yeah, it's only Lewis Sayers who's scored from the bench. He's got 5 points. And we're back underway, and Eagles that get us underway. Ross immediately matching up with Fletcher. Fletcher comes back out to Maxwell. Maxwell going down. Darius Defoe to Edwards. Edwards' jump shot is good. And that levels the game up at 34 all.
Yeah, that was a nicely run set. I thought Edwards might have shot the 3, but he chose not to. That is his shot. That's a good mid-range shot. Not much defense from Cheshire contesting it, to be fair.
For Cheshire, Gordon.
So again, they're looking down low.
Yeah.
So Maxwell does a good job there. He gets in front of Will in the post. And now Ross is coming off the screen on the other side.
Hayes across to Gordon, back to
Hayes
for
the
3.
And
it's short.
They got
on
lucky.
The buzzer. We got lucky from 2 respects. First of all, he got a shot off, and secondly, even though there was nobody on them, they almost fumbled the rebound, but they didn't, and they're back on offense with a chance to take the lead. Defoe, again, still right at the top of the key.
A 2-man game on the side there for Edwards and Maxwell. It's a bit
Edwards comes in, kicks it out to Fluger. Fluger just comes inside onto the elbow, doesn't make the shot. Jalen Hayes takes the rebound into the hands of Ross.
It's a tough shot for Fluger because only like 1 second left in the shot clock and he got run out. Some good defense from Cheshire.
Jimbo Lull wide open. He didn't pull it off. Great steal by Darius Defoe. Darius Defoe lays it in for 2, stole that ball in front of Jalen Hayes.
Yeah, great defense from Darius getting out there. I think Jalen Hayes probably took him for granted a little bit, think I'm being guarded by a bigger guy, he isn't going to do that, but Darius has shown great mentality there to make a play in the passing lane. Maybe it'll be him who steps up in this game.
Just to pick up a point that you made in the first half, I think that's Jalen Hayes 11 for 12 and shoulder shrugs.
Yeah, that's a great move by Karen Ross. As soon as he split the double team there, then
but again, Eagles get up quickly at the other end, but good defensive work by Hayes on Maxwell.
Yeah, so Maxwell's taking Fletcher's space away, so Fletcher has to pass him the basketball, and when he passes him the basketball...
Maxwell came from behind there. Ross tried to get it off to Defoe, doesn't, and it's Eagles ball at the end line.
So when Fletcher passes Maxwell the basketball, because he's blocking the lane, Maxwell has to make that shot. You know, if you're going to post up that deep and you're going to get the ball off your point guard, you have to make it. And so far this game, Ramon Fletcher's been let down a little bit by the amount of guys who are missing 8 foot, 12 feet shots.
36-36, 7:50 to go in the third quarter. Evan Maxwell and Darius Defoe outside the 3-point line. Fletcher turns the corner, nice little bounce pass. Good pass by Defoe to Fluger, but Fluger well guarded by Farrell Gordon, and Gordon comes away with the ball.
Yeah, it's not really Fluger's area to look to score. He'd prefer he was 15 feet out shooting a 15-foot jump shot.
Ross
And
to
now
McCall
you've got a
in the corner.
mismatch. McCall again.
Misses
Eagles
the
got lucky. Great rebound by Jalen Hayes.
Great rebound by Jalen Hayes. Foul is on the floor before he goes up. Darius Defoe talking to Evan Maxwell about where he possibly should have been.
So now, if you look at this, you've got McCall there got an open 3 in the corner against Maxwell. You know, which is a shot Cheshire will take every day of the week. Didn't knock it down. Again,
Darius
Defoe in the
Defoe
hand in the
mixes
passing
that.
lane.
Decimates the table with his
You know,
deflection.
he's trying to pick up the team. You can see he's trying to pick
Yeah.
up the team with his defense, which is what veterans do. You know, and it'll be interesting to see who takes his lead and who follows it.
Ross and Hayes exchange passes, and it's Ross once again, this time faced by Edwards.
Okay, now Dan.
Switch there from Edwards and Defoe. Defoe back onto Hayes though. Gordon drops the ball, but he manages somehow to get it up and throws up a Hail Mary shot on the clock. Good defense by the Eagles.
Yeah, well,
Nice
you
switch
see,
as well.
Gordon's a player who's a connectivity player. He doesn't shoot the ball much, and you've got to try and exploit that if you're playing defense against him. You've got to try and make him into a scorer, make him into a guy who wants to make plays. Pressure him with the basketball. Don't just let him reverse the basketball the way he wants to.
Fletcher's
Fletcher
going to go all the way to
attacking
the basket.
Yeah.
Attacks the rim against Lull and in for 2.
Remarkable that a guy who's 5 foot whatever can go up against a guy who's 6'11" and lay it in like he's not there.
Well, how
you
many
know.
commentators do you hear up and down the line saying Fletcher to his left hand drives the lane and in it goes? You know what's coming, but
It's a difficult shot, but he makes it like it's
Yeah.
easy.
Ross back out to Hayes.
Mm.
Eagles just 2 points in front, but Jimbo Lull looking to get up there. Doesn't make it though. Good defensive work by Evan Maxwell.
Well, yeah, he gave up a bit of space there, I thought.
Fletcher's lost it at the other end.
Yeah,
Cheshire come away with it. Jalen Hayes.
not a charge.
Yeah, great position by Ramon Fletcher. Looked at the player, so anticipated which way he's going to go and got his feet down well in time. And it's obvious as charges you're likely to see.
Well, yeah, that's 3 plays now that the Eagles have made. I mean, that was a charge because we could get a great angle on it here. We just saw Ramon Fletcher plant himself just as Jalen Hayes put his shoulder down. But that's 3 plays now defensively that Defoe and Fletcher have made, and that's how you change games ultimately. You don't change games by worrying about what's going wrong at the offensive end. You have to do it at the defensive end.
3 fouls on Jalen Hayes. He takes a seat along with Farrell Gordon, Matthew O'Brien Amming back in the game, and Kyle Carey. Defoe inbounds to Edwards. Edwards to bring it over the timeline. Quite deep there. Here's Maxwell against Lull. It's going to turn around jump shot is in. Gets a home roll. In it goes. Eagles lead by 4, 40-36.
Yeah, he's a very, very skilled offensive player, Evan Maxwell. You know, very, very skilled.
I think sometimes, you can see both ends of the court a lot more than some people, Dave. And I think people look at his numbers and think, why is he not in the game more often? But I think we know the answer to that one. But as you say, on offense, he's given them a spark.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. Although I thought it was a pass. Darius put his hand down and
Yeah, I would have said it was a pass, but Matthew O'Brien went straight to the line as soon as the whistle went.
I think Chris
Yeah,
Dodds is saying that he was going up, and the reason he passed it was because he was fouled. So
Yeah.
I suppose, if he's 6 feet from the basket, you can understand that as a call. You've got to keep your discipline when you're defending against Matthew down there, though. You can't reach in like that. That's it. He misses a foul
Yes,
shot, so
yeah,
it's a good.
it becomes a good foul end, doesn't it, when he misses the hook
Yeah,
shot?
it does. Oh, that's long.
That's long, yeah. Always looked long. Defoe takes a rebound, gives it to Fluger. Fluger trying to use Ramon Fletcher as the screen, but this pass into Edwards. Maxwell has to go to be a foul all day long, yeah.
Problem with the armbar that Jimbo Lull's using there is that if it's susceptible to the quick move. When he makes a quick move, if your hand is still there, then suddenly he's facing you and
Yeah.
you're fouling him.
Yeah.
So you've got to be really aware as a big guy of pulling your arm out of the way once you're there.
Pass in by Fletcher. Defoe off the glass.
So-
Unlucky, tough.
It's a good move.
It was a good move, and he was unlucky Darius Defoe. He has McCall at the other end. Eagles once again denying him the opportunity to get to the basket. Here's Ross. He's going to find McCall. McCall not quite open. Maxwell puts the hand down. He's got to stay strong. Did stay strong. And Darius Defoe sweeps it up.
Again, a little struggling over the size of Maxwell.
Nice pass from
Fletcher's thrown another pass to a big guy who's yet again failed to finish.
Ross picked his pocket. Back
McCall
out to
for
McCall for three, and he's missed that. Eagles got away with one again, but Kyle Carey gets up, takes the offensive rebound, and it's his first points of the game.
Catch that one, surely. Oh dear. Ramon is throwing the passes to
Fletcher getting extremely frustrated as that pass looked to be on the money, but Evan Maxwell couldn't gather it in. He would have had it easy loop had he made it. Lewis Sayers back on for Rex Fluger.
Yeah, they're debilitating turnovers then, because it's 2 points taken away, you know.
And then if Cheshire scores a 4-point swing, isn't it? You know,
yeah, these guys have to start being able to finish.
Oh yeah, well, good steal by Cortez Edwards. Lewis Sayers going to the basket, reverse layup, and he goes. That's much better from the Eagles. That.
Yeah, Lewis Sayers has actually shown real capacity as a finisher at the rim this year, probably more than you maybe thought he had.
Done, yeah. 7 points tonight.
Now Ross is going to attack in the rim, and that's it. Oh,
it's a very late call. I'm not saying it was the wrong call, it was just a very late call.
Yeah, I mean the problem was he was allowed to split, and once he's allowed to split, it means that he's got Edwards on his back, and at that point in time, you have to say to yourself, is Karan Ross really going to miss a layup by that much if he's not fouled?
Yeah.
I'm not sure there was that much contact either, but it's an easy one to call because you haven't contained him with your initial defence.
Jimbo Lull and Kyle Carey take a seat. Farrell Gordon and Sahel Moulayam is back on.
Yeah, so.
Ross was an 84% free throw shooter at the line.
Yeah, they've got to do a better job of containing him. I do think that, if at some point in this game Karan Ross decides that, it's me, then at the moment he's shown the capacity to get to the rim.
Makes both. 2-point game again. Eagles on the high side. Fletcher to Edwards. Edwards going against Gordon, and left-handed pass in, goes in.
So when Fletcher throws it to a guard, he scores.
And I think he made that point to Coach McLeod as well. And there's Ross. He finds Gordon. Gordon shoots from a long way out, makes it.
Good shot by
Yeah,
Gordon.
it was really good
shot. But he shot it with confidence. That's the important thing. Now Sayers will have to defend him a little bit differently next time.
1-point game now. Evan Maxwell thought about the three, steps back, shoots the three and makes the three. And that's the eliteness of his offensive game, without any shadow of a doubt. Here's Ross pushing hard again.
Again, it comes out of Fletcher getting in the basketball. Now you've got Defoe in the screen row, so it's going to be easier.
It's a travel, a travel all day long. Matthew Bryan just has a little look at Mr. McDonald and decides not to say anything.
Move. Well, sometimes Matthew makes more moves than he needs to. You just like to see him go down and go up strong and turn it and put it up. That was good defense by a 6'10" guy who was standing there.
Fletcher. Oh, that's a block. Yeah. Well, again, not given. Fletcher tried to find Defoe down low, but Cheshire deflected that ball. That's going to be a foul on Ramon Fletcher.
Tried to thread the needle there, he didn't need to.
Still plenty of time left in the shot clock. Eagles lead by 4, 47-43. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Looks like it could be one of those games that's close all the way, although the last time I said that, Sheffield ran away with it against Newcastle, so perhaps I shouldn't say it. But here's Mike McCall. Gordon, he turns the corner, gives it nice pass into Moulayam.
Good hands by Darius again.
Defoe. It's the masterclass in defence from Darius Defoe tonight. Here's Edwards to Sayers in the corner. Sayers for three.
No, that's long.
Too long. That's going to be a foul by Evan Maxwell under the basket on Matthew Bryan.
Yeah, there's a lot of contact there at that point in time. It may well be that Matthew kind of got him with a little hook hold, and Maxwell's trying to throw him off on the hook hold. But what the referee is going to say
is, well, it's sometimes when the referee sees it as well, isn't it? Because you know they're battling all the way.
What I saw was Evan Maxwell throwing Matthew Bryan off. So that's the call.
But that's Eagles in the penalty, so
that's a third foul on Maxwell as well.
Yeah, Bryan Hamming to the line. That one's well short.
Yeah, you just wish Matthew Bryan would just kind of
He almost looks
focus
to
on
me as if he's just like not he doesn't
It just
concentrate.
looks
and
a little
don't-
bit kind of, his head's all over the place in relation to his focus. He's a better foul shooter than being 1 of 4, you know. And
Yeah, makes a second, pulls it back to a 2-point game again. There's Fletcher with the ball for the Eagles.
Defoe's telling him to come in and he's setting the screen, so it's a 2-man game.
Nice pass by Fletcher to Defoe. Defoe Sayers attacks the basket, fades away, but that's a good block by Moulin, and McCall turns the Jets on. Here's Moulin going the other way, and that's going to be a foul by Cortez Edwards.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's, ultimately that's not Louis Sayers' game. 2 dribbles, turn around, spin, fade away. That's
He's
from
either
the top
gotta
of the key.
drive all the way up,
He has
or
to
kick the
drive
ball
or
out.
throw the ball
Yeah.
back in.
Absolutely, totally agree. So Moulin makes the 2 points, and will go up the line for the extra 1, which would level the game if he makes it.
And Cheshire, to be fair, are doing a good job of trying to make the Eagles' complementary players beat them. They're taking the ball out of Fletcher's hands to a certain degree. 1 shot, made it,
Make it.
game tied.
Defoe to Fletcher. 2:20 to go in the third quarter. 47-47. Out to Maxwell on the move to Defoe. Edwards turns the corner. Nice pass in Evan Maxwell, and a good drive to the basket by Maxwell, and lays it in for 2. Good smart play by Edwards to get Maxwell free, and good response by Maxwell. Eagles up by 2. Here's Gordon going for another 3. That one's off. Man Mountain, Ramon Fletcher's up, takes the rebound.
Now you live with
Into
that
Lewis
shot.
Sayers. Nice pass in again by Ramon Fletcher, and once again Evan Maxwell rolling to the basket and in for 2. And the Eagles sneak up into a 4-point lead.
All these bigs have to do is finish because Fletcher will get them the ball.
Been doing it for so many years.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows where the ball is,
Good
and then he knocks the ball dead from Mike McCall.
It's interesting, the Eagles have basically gone with this lineup the whole third quarter, apart from Fluger for Sayers, and it'll be interesting to see. Here comes Adenican now. Maxwell has a break. He got 3
That's
fouls.
probably good though, isn't it? He's got 3 fouls and he's got 1:32 left to go. But as you say, it's going to change the offense.
Right, so Fluger's coming for Defoe. So now the Eagles have gone small, which
Very small.
matches up with Sayers and Moulin, which is fine. It works. The question is, can Adenican hold down the middle? Because you've taken off, and Adenican's got to be there. That's good defense, but that's a great shot by
Great shot
Ross.
from Ross. Yeah, Ross got the ball up high and floated it in off the glass.
So it's
Good penetration.
This is an interesting look by the Eagles because they've gone literally 4 out for the first time in the game.
Sayers wrap around pass from Fletcher is excellent. Sayers gives it back. Fletcher for a 3. It was a long 3. Sayers can't make the rebound. Gordon takes his umpteenth rebound. I'm sure Farrell Gordon's got an awful lot of rebounds in this game now. Now that was his 8th rebound of the game. Here's Brian Amming against Shori Adenican. Adenican changes the shot again. Matthew Brian Amming.
Oh, pretty. And that's an awful call by Ian MacDonald. Basically, Matthew Bryan has told Ian MacDonald that the ball came off Louis Sayers, and Ian MacDonald has then listened to him. It's an absolutely horrendous call. And the look on Louis Sayers' hands. The problem was Ian MacDonald had no angle on that ball to see that.
Christoph did come down and check with his official.
He did, but I'm afraid Ian isn't going to change his mind. No. Ian doesn't change his mind much.
No, not known for it, but most of his reason not known for it. Hand off to McCall. Here's Ross. Good hands by Cortez Edwards again. Down to 4 seconds on the shot clock. Puts the shot up on the buzzer and makes it on the buzzer.
It's a great defense by Edwards and an awesome shot by Ross. Now, can Newcastle get 2 for 1 or they're not going for it?
Ross up to 14 points personal. He leads Cheshire. Fletcher, Sayers, Edwards and Fletcher again.
He's waiting for Adenican to roll, and Adenican didn't roll.
And Matthew Bryan at the other end, and that's a foul by Cortez Edwards.
And Matthew Bryan has to make that layup at the other end. This is, I have to say the finishing in this game from the big teams, from the big guys on both teams has been, probably with the exception of Maxwell maybe, has been very, very average.
14.6 seconds left, 51-51. If Matthew Bryan, can knock these 2 down, we'll be where we were when we started the second half. 2-point lead for Cheshire. Makes the first. Makes it 3-7. Four of 8. 50% on the night. He is 55% for the season.
So he's come back with Evan Maxwell for
the offense.
for offense, defense with one player, which
And they could come back with Carey for Brian Hamming. Mooley on as well, putting a bit of pressure on here. Fletcher gets it though.
someone needs to come and set a screen for Fletcher early, too late.
He's found the lane though, and reverses it in for two.
Yeah.
It's got to be a long shot from McCall, and he made one of these. Oh, it's Surrey to win the game, but he doesn't make that one, and that legs were nicely tied up. 53-53 with 10 minutes to go. Anybody's game, Dave.
Yeah, at the moment I think it might just come down to whichever of the defences is able to handle the opposition point guard the best. So, you know, basically how much can Newcastle make somebody apart from Ross beat them, and how much can Cheshire make somebody apart from Fletcher beat them. You know, it's going to be a focus on defence. I think both guys, both Ross and Fletcher, have shown that they can get what they want.
Yeah. It's a question of whether they're going to take the game over.
Yeah, well, it's a question whether the opposition will let them take the game over, and it all depends on the focus on defence.
We'll just go to an advert break. So we've got 50 seconds or so to go before we get the players back on court. Just having a little look down there at Sheffield to see what the score is there. They're through 2.5 quarters, 5:31 to go in the third quarter. Sheffield lead a close one there, 55-52, with Kipper Nichols 16 points, Bennett Cook with 13 points, and Jeremy Helmsley 14. For Manchester, it's Justin Satchel has 16 points and David Ulf has 12 points. It looks that one could also go down to the wire, but we're also on this one. Everybody back up. Just like to thank the Cheshire fan who's given me the correct pronunciation of MBA. We're back underway. 53 all, Cheshire on offence.
Defoe back in the game with Maxwell. Hayes in the game.
Hayes comes driving in. That'll be 2 points for Jalen Hayes.
Yeah, Darius is expecting Evan Maxwell to be across there to take that away.
Didn't move across, and Jalen Hayes was able to get to the basket and laid it in for two. Puts Cheshire in front by 2.
Again, Defoe being guarded by Hayes on the perimeter.
It's Maxwell.
Maxwell's got to look at the jump shot there.
3, and he knocks it down.
Yeah, good shot by Evan Maxwell. Again, Fletcher getting on the
19
ball.
points personal.
You know, that's fine. You know, it's a good shot for him. If it's in the flow of the offense, he's got to make Matthew Bryan guard him out there.
If that was an assist for Fletcher, that was his 8th.
It certainly was.
And he's
again,
got 6 turn on it. Great steal by Edwards, and he manages to get the ball and find Fletcher.
Yeah,
fantastic work by Cortez Edwards, and here's Lewis Sayers in the corner for 3, and then it goes for 3. That's a fantastic play for the Eagles.
It was, but look at Fletcher's. You know, you have to look at Fletcher's cross-court pass as well. There, you know, he's throwing it one-handed from the top of the key, elbow line extended on the other side to Sayers in the corner, and hit him absolutely in his shooting pocket in rhythm. Yeah, you know. So Edwards' defense, yeah, is exceptional, but for Fletcher to do that in semi-transition, you know, there's a reason this guy has as many assists in the.
There's a reason why he's a 2-time MVP as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting, he's got 6 turnovers, and really, those 6 turnovers, you probably couldn't put them down to him.
Probably maybe 3. Maybe 3 of them down to him.
So, Eagles just got that 4-point advantage again, but Cheshire back on the offense, and again, another great steal by Fletcher to Edwards. Edwards goes to lane for 2, and that'll be a timeout for Ben Thomas.
Another assist
we'll
from
go
Fletcher.
To an advert.
Yeah, another one. Fletcher therefore taking over on the defensive end and hitting Edwards in stride.
So, 61-55, 6-point gap. That's the biggest gap for quite some time in the game. 8:32 to go, and those two players there by Ramon Fletcher finding players in. First of all, Louis Sayers in the corner, and then Cortez Edwards in the open court.
Well, it's again the Eagles' guards have stepped up because the Edwards gets a steal and Fletcher manages to find. Fletcher made a play at the end of the third quarter. Then Edwards gets a steal, finds Fletcher. Fletcher finds Sayers in the corner. Fletcher finds Maxwell in the offense. Maxwell knocks down a three. Fletcher gets a steal. He finds Edwards in the transition. He gets a layup. So the ball is being handled by the Eagles guys that you probably want to handle. And remarkably, their offense improves significantly when that happens.
Just looking at the Eagles scores, we've got Evan Maxwell on 19 points, Cortez Edwards on 15 points, Ramon Fletcher 9 points and 10 assists, Darius Defoe 8 points, 7 assists, and Louis Sayers on 10 points.
7 assists for Defoe?
Yeah, 7 assists for Defoe. Wow. Kieran Ross has 14 points, Brian Amang has 12, and Mike McCall with 10.
It's Ross, and they're trying to get the ball to Matthew Bryan down low, so let's see if Evan Maxwell can stand up to him. Good job by Maxwell.
Oh, that's an extremely late call again from the referee furthest away from the play. Maybe he had the better angle.
Well, I didn't see it, but I wouldn't have had a good angle to see it. I saw he had the basketball. Maybe he got his hand on the ball and then he brought his arm down. But again, that's the thing. If Matthew Bryan is getting the basketball 3 feet from the basket, he's putting your defense under that degree of pressure, whereby those calls can happen.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Perhaps one of the Eagles' things is, if I'm looking at the court there, I'm thinking I'm going to maybe double off Farrah Gordon. Yeah. So if Matthew Bryan gets the basketball down there, Farrah Gordon's man is going to run across and get across there and make him back it out again. Yeah. And make them throw it to Farrah Gordon, make Farrah Gordon beat you. I'm not saying he can't, but
Matthew Bryan misses the pay.
The problem now is that's 4 fouls on Maxwell, so Ian's running with him. I think he probably needs to, given the offense that he's given them. But they're going to have to be a little bit clever in how they defend.
Fletcher gets through the gap. His shot, unfortunately, scoop shot hits it underneath of the rim, and
he got intimidated a bit.
Farrah Gordon. Interesting pass from Gordon back to Ross, and there's Hayes. He'll get up, and that'll be a nice little float out. It didn't make the two. Eagles can't get the defensive rebound. Yeah. Ross, Farrah Gordon for 3. That one's off as well. Matthew Bryan Amming gets the rebound. Good defensive work once again by Defoe. Bryan Amming turning, twisting, driving to the basket, and this time he gets it in for 2. Tells the Eagles bench to shush as he goes past.
He needs to keep playing and stop with the gesticulations and the theatrics. He'd be a better player if he didn't do all that stuff.
Maxwell and Bryan Amming really going at it. Louis Sayers up for 3 and in for 3. Nice pass from Evan Maxwell.
There's a risk that Evan Maxwell gets too involved in all that stuff. He just needs to continue to make basketball plays and not worry about all the mouth and all the signals and everything else.
Bryan Amming now going for 3 and knocks down the 3.
Because when you do that, that's what Matthew Bryan will do. He's a very talented basketball player, and if he gets juiced up and he starts talking and he starts playing, that's the way he wants to be. So you gotta just be smart about it.
It's gone up to 14 points personal. I think that was a 3 though, wasn't it? 64-60, and Ian McLeod calls a timeout, his first of the second half, with 6:50 to go. I've noticed this season as well, Dave, there's been an awful lot more later timeouts. I know it's a close game, so you probably do want to save 1 or 2, don't you, for towards the end?
Yeah, you want to break a run if you can. But there haven't been much in the way of runs that requires timeout, so you're kind of managing your strategy via substitutions as opposed to via timeout. Perhaps the thing you need to be doing is making sure your lineups are right, and then you always want to save 1, if not 2, for the last 2 minutes. You certainly need to save 1 at all times in case you need to advance the ball.
Yeah.
The only time you probably take that last one is if the game is at the point of disappearing.
Yeah.
And you've got to judge that time at the point of disappear to get kind of one last effort from your team.
That's exactly what Chris Bunton did in the ladies game last night. He was holding on, and he took 1, and then unfortunately it didn't have the effect it wanted. Manchester scored 6 quick points, and by that time he thought, well, that's the game gone, and he took the next one straight away. just a break.
That's probably not a bad time out because it just allows. But the thing is, they're now coming back with these. Maxwell's now sitting down.
Adenegan,
Adenegan's
Sears,
coming back in.
Edwards and Defoe.
So it's
and
going to be
Fletcher.
another battle down low with Adenegan and Bryan and Defoe and Lowell. So again, spacing is going to be a premium.
Big bodies. Brian
bodies.
Hammond and Jimbo Lowell.
Adenegan and Defoe as well.
Yeah.
Aren't small.
It's actually strange to think that they actually are smaller though. That's what I was talking about. Oh, that's a nice play by Adenegan. That's going to be a travel. Jump ball given. It's Eagles ball though.
I have to say, Eagles are consistent in throwing the ball to Adenegan down low, but you're not getting any production out of him down there.
Not at the moment. He hasn't scored a point yet.
No, you'd prefer that they were throwing it to Defoe down there.
Adenegan going in hard. There's Defoe. He's going to go up the basket. Knocks Brian Hamming out the road, but he gets his hands to it and knocks the ball away. And he's having a big effect on the game as Matthew Bryan.
He is, and if the Eagles start doing all the pouting and the moving and the complaining as well, then that's just playing into Matthew Bryan's kind of idea of the game,
Nice pass from Ross.
Again,
Adenegan gets up fantastically well to block it, but the loose ball falls in the hands of Jalen Hayes and he lays it in for two. And it's a 2-point game at 64-62. It must be really tough for a defender when they make such a fantastic play like that, but unfortunately their teammates can't gather the loose ball.
Well, it's a 50-50 ball that goes up in the air, it lands, and whoever hands it lands in, You've made a play, that's the best you can do, you do what you can. The game is getting a bit physical, and this isn't the type of game that a BBL referee is used to refereeing, so it'll be interesting to see how they start to control the game down low. Certainly Defoe thought he was fouled by Matthew Bryan down there at the end, the other end.
I think when the game's tight like this and it starts turning this physical way, you sometimes wonder if it's going to be the referee. So inadvertently
there's a disparity in the foul call at the moment. It looks like there's 16 Newcastle fouls, only 7 Cheshire fouls at the moment. So there is a disparity which is probably becoming a factor in the game at this point.
Obviously, Evan Maxwell has got 4.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long
Rex Luger's got 3. Cortez Edwards got 3. The only one in any kind of problems is for Cheshire's Jalen Hayes is the only one that's got more than 1, and he has 3. So Fletcher brings the ball forward.
So they've got Hayes playing the 3 and guarding Sayers. So you'd want to try and maybe run a screen and pick and pop for Sayers.
Cortez Edwards trying to get in. He's thinking about trying to find Adenegan. Does find Adenegan. Adenegan fakes to go up, and this time he is given the foul as he goes up. Fouled by Jimbo Lowell. I always think it always amuses me. Probably shouldn't, but it always amuses me. Kieran Ross ran away thinking that wasn't a foul, but Jimbo Lowell's already got his hand in the air.
Oh, he hit him, but you probably. It's not a bad foul. I think he's 48% foul shooter, so you made him put it on the line. You'd prefer just Adenegan just shot that ball. He's probably 6 feet from the basket. He didn't need to take a dribble, But he's knocked down his foul shot.
The first one.
Credit to him for that. He's gained the games.
That's his first point of the game. Makes them both. Punishes Cheshire. Very good.
Very different trajectory on the second shot to the one on the first shot.
Yeah, 2 completely different shots, but both have the same effect.
Absolutely.
Nothing but net. 66-62 Eagles. 5:45 to go. Cheshire to reply, looking to get a run. There's a great stop by Lewis Sayers in front of Jalen Hayes.
You see now what's happening is Cheshire. Cheshire, obviously Lewis Sayers played for Cheshire, so they're thinking now Jalen Hayes has played with them in practice time after time, and they're thinking we can get down low and we can get something going. So they're trying to exploit what they think is a mismatch there.
But Lewis Sayers is probably playing in a different way than he did at Cheshire.
Maybe it's still what they're trying to do. It's their strategy on the game.
There's McCall.
Tough shot.
Shot up. Oh, what a great rebound by Kieran Ross and the putback. That was a fantastic rebound.
It is. Edwards is frustrated with himself because he's thinking, I got to get that. Now you see the pressure with McCall on Edwards.
Yeah.
So you see the pressure there, and they're denying Fletcher as well.
I think he's saying the shot clock hadn't started.
Yeah, but he's right. It hadn't.
Yeah.
Took more than 2 seconds to get across there.
Yeah, exactly. It was on. If it starts on 24, you take that long to get there. That's not going to be 2 seconds. Well, they took 2 seconds off the shot clock, which is fair enough. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. 5:18 on the game clock. Eagles on offense, leading by 2. It's 66-64. Adenican, nice pass to Defoe, great cut by Defoe to the basket. That's where surely Adenican's quite effective.
Yeah, actually, he's demonstrated some chops as a passer in this game. He's shown a nice touch around that. Probably is better passer than a finisher, to be honest.
Well, at the moment, certainly, yes. Defoe.
Again, they're looking for Hayes down low. You see that they brought Brian in low up high and Hayes down low.
McCall's going to attack the basket.
He
He does
did,
well to get
and
through the
he
basket.
got around Adenican, who overplayed him that time. He stepped too high and got to the rim.
68-66. Suddenly both teams starting to make baskets. There's Fletcher, jab step, and he comes inside and from the elbow, and he's hit from behind by Mike McCall, and then Fletcher will go up the line to shoot two.
Yeah, it wasn't a smart foul by McCall. He had Fletcher shooting the one-footed runner going to his right from 15 feet, and if you're Ben Thomas, you'll accept that shot.
I'm just pointing out to Dave, these are the first foul shots by Eagles down
Starters.
5.
Well, Adenican's
Adenican's had Fletcher misses the first. So only the third foul shot of the game for the Eagles. Makes a second, so Eagles are now 3 for 4 from the line.
Yeah, it's another double-double for Fletcher.
Yeah. 10 points, 10 assists. There's Brian Amming. Nice pass into Jalen Hayes. Jalen Hayes manages to lay it in.
Yeah, they were trying to play the screen and they were looking to switch the screen, but they forgot to actually look at the ball. So now there's an interesting matchup situation here with Sayers and Hayes. You see.
Adenican gives it to Fletcher. Fletcher weaving in and out, gives it to Defoe. Defoe, shot is too long.
Great rebound by Hayes.
Jalen Hayes just great rebound and into McCall. McCall's away to the races, but he doesn't. Kieran Ross from way downtown doesn't make it. Cortez Edwards up for the rebound.
You'd like to see him push it now. You've got them on the ropes. Yeah, you've got them slow.
Yeah, possibly could have got a bit quicker. I would agree with you, but he's doesn't matter. He's done the work
he
anyway.
likes that matchup.
Yeah.
He's got size on Kieran Ross, so it's a good play. I think it's probably time to see Evan Maxwell again here. I have to say.
71-68, the Eagles lead with 3.5 to go. Adenican on Lull. Lull gets past him, turns and throws the ball over the back of the basket. He did all the hard work once again, and this is going to be a ball off Jalen Hayes, who doesn't agree.
Yeah, I thought it was
good call, Dave Forrester, as Evan Maxwell comes back in for Shorey Adenican.
Yeah, I thought that was Cheshire's ball actually, and I
Well,
thought
so
basically Hayes is taking Sayers to the basket because Hayes is more athletic, so Hayes is going to the glass, and he's trying to really impact that matchup. And Sayers is saying, "Give me the ball, I can attack him off the dribble." So can the Eagles exploit the matchup at the other end?
I think the thing was that we both thought that was Cheshire's ball, which is probably why we're commentating and not refereeing.
So Fletcher wanted a screen set there.
Into Maxwell. Maxwell immediately trying to get. And that's
that's
foul.
unsportsmanlike foul and one.
And one. Or is it going to be a continuation?
Yeah, it has to be basket good. He scored. Yeah, it has to be basket good. Yeah, basket good in one shot.
Nope, he's given it as 2 shots by the looks of it, so I think the basket isn't going to count.
I'm not sure how that, I'm not sure how that cannot be basket good, because what's happened is Evan Maxwell has made a spin move, right? He's then being fouled, and he wasn't at that point. He was not in the option shooting, but that was not an unsportsmanlike foul at that point. Then, as he went up to shoot, he was grabbed from behind as well, with almost a second foul, and that aggression was caused when he was in the motion of shooting. So that's a big call in this game, because it's potentially a 3-point swing. I don't think it was the right call.
Maxwell looking to knock this one down, give Eagles a 4-point lead. He does. Eagles ball at the sideline.
It does show the importance of him as a focal point in there, though. I mean, he made a great
move
there. He made a great move there. And
he's got 20 points in the game.
Yeah.
There's Edwards. Eagles looking to take advantage of the unsportsmanlike foul. Once again, Maxwell going up hard, and he's going to be fouled by Brian Amming. Or Manning.
Yeah, it's a really good move by Maxwell getting to the middle. I'm not sure it was a foul, I'll be honest. Yeah, Manning was out there, and Maxwell really didn't get above him, but Ian McDonald saying that he didn't have his hands straight up, which is generally the call from the referee in that situation. So Maxwell's done well to get himself to the line.
The foul was actually called on. Yeah, it was called on Brian Manning.
Has to be, there's nobody else there.
Yeah, it's just I'm just looking at the. No, I'm looking at the wrong. That was his first foul. Yeah. Ivan Maxwell knocks down the first one. For those Cheshire fans complaining about my pronunciation of Matthew Bryan's surname, I will say this, I've gotten it wrong for 3 or 4 years. It's just, sometimes you get stuck on a word and you just can't get it right.
Matthew Bryan, a Manning.
Yeah.
However, I think Matthew Bryan, everybody knows who he is.
This from a man who can pronounce Manti Caveda Fishut.
Yeah, well, that's not me. So we've got a 6-point game with 2 minutes 56 to go. So really, this game comes down now to the next 2 defensive possessions for the Eagles.
Yeah.
If they can get 2 stops the next 2 times down, then you're getting close to the end game. And stopping the score in an 8-point game with 2 minutes to go. At that point, you should be feeling comfortable about being able to play the game out. If, however, they can't get a stop and Cheshire can score the basketball, then that becomes a whole different kettle of fish. So. It'll be interesting to see where Cheshire go here. I mean, they've gone to a very big lineup at the end of this game. They've sat Carey, Moulion and Gordon all down. Gone with Jalen Hayes playing at the 3 and trying to impact that matchup with Louis Sayers. The difficulty is with that because you've got Llewellyn Bryan on the court. You don't have that much space to exploit. Hayes and the 3-man is generally a wing and a shooter as opposed to someone who can go down low. So to exploit it, you've got to lift all the other guys up high, and neither Lull or Bryan are particularly comfortable in there. So the question will be whether the Eagles are able to put enough pressure on those guys if they do go up high and put pressure on the basketball to the point whereby the Phoenix can't get the ball where they want it. And as I say that, Farrell Gordon's come back in the game.
Yeah.
So Ben Thomas has decided that strategy is not one he wants to go with. And now Darius Defoe is back guarding Jalen Hayes, as it has been for most of the game, and Louis Sayers is on Farrell Gordon. So steps out high on the screen. Darius does well to get back there to
Mike McCall.
Mike McCall looking to shoot it. That's Edwards steps across to Hayes. Good defense. Good defense by the Eagles. Good defense by Edwards. Tough shot by Mike McCall.
Yeah, he does make some tough shots.
He is a guy you cannot assume because you've got him kind of cornered in space. He is not going to make that shot. That is his shot. You've got to try and run him off and stay attached to his body at all times.
So it's a 4-point gaps. Eagles 74, Cheshire 70.
So again, they're going back to Maxwell. It's a flop by Bryan.
And that's a foul by Bryan.
Yeah.
Matthew Bryan.
Matthew's saying that was a travel. It's not. He's right. It wasn't far away from a travel, but Evan Maxwell picked his left foot up, but I don't think he put it back down, which meant that he just kind of got away with it.
He'll go to the line again. All of a sudden. So that was Matthew Bryan Amming's second foul. Evan Maxwell knocks down the free throw. Evan Maxwell up to 23 points personal.
Yeah, he only played, 21 minutes.
Yeah.
So, it's a really efficient offensive game by Evan tonight.
Knocks them both down. Eagles 76, Cheshire 70. 2 minutes 10 to go. Ross up with the ball. Here's Defoe.
Good show by Defoe there. He got back to it. Fletcher switches on to McCall. So now it's Ross and Manning on the screen. He's attacking Maxwell. Edwards does a good job staying in front of him. Great job by Maxwell. Good shot by Matthew Bryan, but it doesn't go.
Cortez Edwards takes the rebound.
And I think the Eagles will love that defensive possession because it ended up with
a 3-point shot from Matthew Bryan Amming, who can knock that shot down, but they would take that probably.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They did a great job of preventing multiple actions by Ross being effective.
The Eagles now on offense, 6 points in front, 1:30 to go, letting the shot clock go down. Cortez Edwards is up, doesn't make the shot.
Yeah, they didn't really get what they wanted there. That was a tough shot. The shot clock was running down, so can they get back in transition? Bryan's sealing there, so he's in the way. Defoe's playing good defense, but Edwards can't cheat off McCall. He does.
McCall in the middle. Defoe and Maxwell double team.
It's a great double team. Good job. And
that's a
bad foul by Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletcher flying out for the 3. Fouls Ross as he shoots the 3. The ball doesn't go in, so it's not a 4-point play, but it will be a 3 from the line for Kieron Ross.
Yeah, and the reason Fletcher flew out in the way that he did is because he has significant respect for the fact that Ross can make that shot. And that's because the way Ross has played the rest of this game. He hasn't actually made many jump shots, but because he's He's a big game player. Now, it was a good double team. Again, it was a decent defensive possession by the Eagles, who really kind of picked it up a little bit. But, you know, it's not a good play to foul a 3-point shooter, particularly when it's a 6-point game with 1:10 to go in the game. But Cheshire, to be fair, Cheshire's foul shooting in this game has not been optimal.
Well, that's 8 of 18.
Well, that's 8 of 18 in a 6-point game.
That's 9 of 19.
He's
looking to get to up to 50% if he makes this one, as you say, but
no, it's short.
And Cortez Edwards takes the rebound, so that's
yeah,
1
I
of
think
3.
you really want the ball in Fletcher's hands at this point, I think. I hope they're going to find a way of getting the basketball to Fletcher. Come and get it.
Cortez Edwards having an efficient game again. Ball into Fletcher's hands. He's got almost got the lane, and up he goes, and that's going to be a foul inside.
Yeah, that was a smart play by Fletcher. He didn't overextend, and he managed to spin, and he had the layup out of it, and he gets himself to the foul line.
Once again, Matthew Bryant has a conversation with the referee as Fletcher prepares to shoot 2 shots.
I know people say, oh, he shouldn't talk so much, but you know, in my view, if I've got a player who's talking that much to the refs, he's not concentrating
on his game.
As much on the game that he should be concentrating on.
Fletcher makes the first.
Yeah, I'd much prefer there was just a little bit less drama. He's a hell of a player.
He makes this. He looks at. Up it goes and in it goes. That's 78-71, and that'll be a timeout to Cheshire, and we'll go to an advert.
The reason, sorry.
So, you're going to mention about the matchup there, Dave, but the one thing you said just before we went on advert break was no threes, and I can remember being on the bench with you so many times, and that was one of your favourite ones towards the end of the game. No threes.
The reason is that you're up 7, yeah? You got 50 seconds left, so, you know, a 2-point basket really doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, a 3-point, a 3-point basket potentially means one less possession they need to catch up, because you know, you get another one, you get a foul stop, whatever. A 2-point basket, the worst is you're up 5 with 45 seconds left with the ball. Now they're probably going to have to foul at that point, so you've just got to knock your foul shots down. Yeah. They get a quick 3, and it's a 4-point game with 50 seconds, and maybe they overpress for a steal, and you get something. You know, so you really, the most important thing is, you know, force them away from the 3-point line. You know, the 3 is not going to beat you at this point, I don't think. You know, Cheshire are going to go 8-0 on 4 2.5 field goals, and that's 53 seconds to win the game. There's not enough possessions left in the game.
The other thing as well is that we're going to see a big change around if it came down to fouls. So Cheshire 9 of 20 at the moment, and Eagles didn't have many before, but they're 10 of 12.
Yeah,
so
but foul shots in the clutch are a bit different. You see, there you go. That's Ross for
there's
3.
The 3, yeah, but doesn't make it. But Eagles got away with one really because it gave Ross enough space to get that shot off quite comfortably. And Evan Maxwell took the rebound and.
Yeah, he got a good look, but to be honest, that's kind of been a bit reminiscent. It's kind of been a bit explicative of explicative. That's not a word.
I wouldn't know, Dave.
No, it's just been a bit typical of Cheshire's night. You know, they've had good shots, but they haven't really ever had any kind of joie de vivre about them, or any kind of positive energy about them to kind of take this game, because at times this game has been there for the taking.
Fletcher's knocked the first down. Just misses the second, going takes the rebound, but it's an 8-point game with 40 seconds left to go. Mike McCall up for 3. That one's off, and that one taken by Lewis Sayers. He gets the outlet to Fletcher.
They're shooting from 3.
Well, that's 2 of 15. Good ball movement by the Eagles. Cheshire trying to get the foul in. They can't get the foul in. Ben Thomas saying that he's having a real good Graham Shaw, because he thinks. And then finally the foul is given with 16.9 to go and 3.8 left on the shot clock. 79-71, but I think that's all she wrote, Dave.
Yeah, well, that's just Fletcher padding his stats now. But I mean, you look at this. I mean, you know, Cheshire are what, 2 of 15 from 3, 9 of 20 from the foul line. It's only an 8-point game.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Really.
Really, they've not had anything going tonight. In fact, they've played a little bit like a team who's won 5 games in a row in the league and is feeling quite good about themselves, and I'm afraid lost a little bit of focus about the things that they need to do to win. And it does happen after long winning streaks, you know.
Fletcher makes 1 or 2.
He's frustrated with himself. His percentages are
9-point game. Ross was he going to? No, he's going to take the 2. Eagles quite happy to let him take the 2.
Yeah, he knows how to get his numbers as well. So Chris Dodds is upbraiding Matthew Bryan because he stepped over the line on the inbounds.
Yeah. He's not allowed to do that, is he?
He's not allowed to do that.
He's complaining about.
No, Chris is quite right. I mean, there's an argument to say that you've had a technical warning already. Then you, when you do something like that, you get your technical. I'm afraid.
Technical warning a long time ago.
Assuming that's the game now.
Yeah. That's. I think Ross went for the steal, didn't get it. Fletcher takes the ball over the halfway line, and that's a great win for the Eagles, 80-73. Scrappy game, bitty game, but a fantastic W, and that's all that really matters in the end.
Yeah, it is. I mean, having said that, you know, I'm not. Yeah, they needed a win because they lost 4 of the last 5. So how do you get the win is less important than the fact that you get the win and you get back used to playing. They're still not at the level that they were in November in relation to the rhythm. Obviously, Gordon makes a massive difference to that. They're not playing with the speed, but then again, they played 6 games in 14 days, so it's difficult to maintain that speed. Yeah. And the important thing is you got to win. Now the second thing is I think the next game is.
They play at Bristol
on Tuesday night. Another long bus trip to Bristol against a team that they've played 4 times and beaten 4 times.
And Bristol obviously got that GB guys coming back full of confidence and full of vigour, but we'll see what happens on that one. But before then, as I mentioned before, the Eagles ladies are in action tomorrow down in Cardiff. 1:30 tip-off for that one. You can see that one on Cardiff Met Archer's YouTube channel. Just looking a quick look across the stats. Evan Maxwell 24 points, Cortez Edwards 17 points, Ramon Fletcher 14 points and 10 assists. And for Cheshire, Kieran Ross had 19 points, Jalen Hayes 10, Matthew Bryan Amaning had 17 points and 5 rebounds. But I think for me, you know, is that a coupon buster, as they say, you know, and but I don't think Eagles are going to mind either way. That's a good win for the Eagles, and they move on and they'll consolidate their 3rd place, and we'll see how things go. And Justin Gordon, it looks a little bit healthier there as he walks away from the bench, and that'll be the key, I think, for the Eagles going forward.
No, absolutely. He is the athleticism and the energy and the scoring that he brings, you know, and the fact that it's another guy who can finish Fletcher's passes. You know, it's absolutely.
Big game going on in Sheffield. If you want to turn across to that one, it's 2:17 left to go in that game, and Sheffield leads Manchester by 79-76. But from Dave and myself, I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you enjoyed the commentary, and I hope you join us again the next time we're broadcasting. Thank you very much.